Namaste, Hamisha Kushro Bitia. I am JVN Dr. Minakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Today, the topic of discussion is the nasal polyp. So, what are the nasal polyp? Nasal polypi are non-neoplastic masses of edematous nasal or sinus mucosa. They are divided into two main varieties: the bilateral ethmoidal polyp and antrochoanal polyp. First, we will discuss the bilateral model polyp. The etiology. The etiology of nasal polyp is very complex and not well understood. They may arise in inflammatory conditions of nasal mucosa, like in rhinosinusitis, and they may arise in the disorders of ciliary motility or abnormal composition of nasal mucosa, as in case of cystic fibrosis, and various diseases associated with the formation of nasal polypi are chronic rhinosinusitis. The polyp are seen in chronic rhinosinusitis of both allergic and non-allergic origin. The non-allergic rhinitis with eosinophilia syndrome, the NERS, is a form of chronic rhinitis associated with polyp. And next disease is asthma. 7% of the patient with asthma of atopic or non-atopic origin show nasal polyp. Next is aspirin intolerance. 36% of the patient with aspirin intolerance may show polyp. Santos triad consists of nasal polyp, asthma, and aspirin intolerance. Next disease is cystic fibrosis. 20% of the patient with cystic fibrosis form polyp. It is due to abnormal mucus. Next disease is allergic fungal sinusitis. Almost all cases of fungal sinusitis form the nasal polyp. Next disease is Gardner syndrome. This consists of bronchiectasis sinusitis, situs inversus, and ciliary dyskinesis. Next disease is Young syndrome. It consists of sinopulmonary disease and azoospermia. Next disease is Church-Strauss syndrome. It consists of asthma, fever, eosinophilia, vasculitis, and granuloma. Next disease is nasal mastocytosis. It consists of chronic rhinitis in which nasal mucosa is infiltrated with mast cells but few eosinophils. Skin test for allergy and IgE levels are normal. Then pathogenesis of bilateral ethmoidal polyp. The nasal mucosa, particularly in the region of middle meatus and turbinate, becomes edematous due to collection of extracellular fluid causing polypoidal change. Polyps which are sessile in the beginning become pedunculated due to gravity and excessive sneezing. Then pathology of the bilateral ethmoidal polyp. In early stages, surface of nasal polypi is covered by ciliated columnar epithelium like that of normal nasal mucosa, but later it undergoes a metaplastic change to transitional and squamous type on exposure to atmospheric irritation. Submucosa shows large intercellular spaces filled with serous fluid. There is also infiltration with eosinophils and round cells. Next is the site of origin of the bilateral ethmoidal polyp. Multiple polyp, nasal polyp always arises from the lateral wall of nose, usually from the middle meatus. Common sites are uncinate process, bulla ethmoidalis, ostia of sinuses, medial surface, and edge of middle turbinate. Allergic nasal polyp almost never arise from the septum or the floor of nose. Next are the symptoms of the bilateral ethmoidal polyp. Symptoms are multiple polyp can occur at any age but are mostly seen in adults. Nasal stuffiness lead to total nasal obstruction may be the presenting symptom. The partial or total loss of sense of smell. Next symptom is the headache due to associated sinusitis. Next symptom is the sneezing and watery nasal discharge due to associated allergy. Next symptom is the mass protruding from the nostril. What are the signs of the bilateral ethmoidal polyp? On anterior rhinoscopy,
Polyp appear as smooth, glistening, grape-like masses, often pale in color. They may be sessile or pedunculated, insensitive to probing, and do not bleed on touch. Often they are multiple and bilateral. Long-standing cases present with broadening of nose and increased intercanthal distance. A polyp can may protrude from the nostril and appear pink and vascular, simulating neoplasm. Nasal cavity may show purulent discharge due to associated sinusitis. Probing of a solitary ethmoidal polyp may be necessary to differentiate it from hypertrophy of the turbinate or cystic middle turbinate. Next is the diagnosis of the bilateral ethmoidal polyp. Diagnosis can be easily made on clinical examination. Computed tomography, in short CT scan of the paranasal sinuses is essential to exclude the bony erosion and expansion suggestive of neoplasia. Simple nasal polyp may sometimes be associated with malignancy underneath, especially in people above 40 years, and this must be excluded by histological examination of the suspected tissue. CT scan also helps to plan surgery. Then comes the treatment of the bilateral ethmoidal polyp. The treatment can be conservative or surgical. First, we'll discuss the conservative treatment. Early polypoidal changes with edematous mucosa may revert to normal with antihistaminics and control of allergy. A short course of steroids may prove useful in case of people who cannot tolerate antihistaminics and or in those with asthma and polypoidal nasal mucosa. They may also be used to prevent recurrence after surgery. Contraindications to use of steroids are hypertension, peptic ulcer, diabetes, pregnancy, and tuberculosis should be excluded. Then the surgical treatment. Patient can undergo polypectomy. One or two polyps which are pedunculated can be removed with snare. Multiple and sessile polyp require special forceps. Second surgery is the intranasal ethmoidectomy. When polyps are multiple and sessile, they require uncapping of the ethmoidal air cells by intranasal route, a procedure called the intranasal ethmoidectomy. Third surgical procedure is the extranasal ethmoidectomy. This is indicated when polyps recur after intranasal procedures and surgical landmarks are ill-defined due to previous surgery. Approach is through the medial wall of the orbit by an external incision medial to middle canthus. Next surgical procedure is transantral ethmoidectomy. This is indicated when infection and polypoidal changes are also seen in the maxillary antrum. In this case, antrum is opened by Calvel-Luke approach and ethmoid air cells approach through the medial wall of the antrum. This procedure is also superseded by endoscopic sinus surgery. Next surgical procedure is the endoscopic sinus surgery. These days, ethmoidal polypi are removed by endoscopic sinus surgery, which is more popularly called the functional endoscopic sinus surgery, or in short, FES. It is done with various endoscopes of 0°, 30°, and 70° angulation. Polyp can be removed more accurately when ethmoid cells are removed and drainage and ventilation provided to the other inward sinuses such as maxillary, phrenoidal, or frontal sinus. There is an image of a polyp protruding from the left nostril in a patient with bilateral ethmoidal polyp. So here completes our nasal polyp part 1. In next session we will discuss the nasal polyp part 2. In that we will discuss the second type of polyp. Okay, thank you so much. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.
Namaste, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. I am JVN Dr. Meenakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakyatantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Today we will discuss the Shirorog Vigyani Adhyay. It was given in the, it is the 25th chapter of the Shushu Samhita Uttar Tantra. So we will discuss the symptoms of diseases peculiar to the region of head. First, we will study the classification of Shirorog diseases which are peculiar to the region of the head, number 11 in all. The four kinds respectively due to the action of the deranged Vayu, Pitta, Kapha and their combination, as well as those which are respectively incidental to any bodily waste, Shayaj, or to the vitiated condition of the blood, Raktaj, or to the existence of parasites, Scrimmage. The remaining four being known as Suryavar, Anantvat, Ardhavbhedak, and Shankak. The symptoms of these 11 kinds of head diseases are given below. Then first the symptoms of dosh originated types. A fit of violent headache without any apparent cause and which becomes worse in the night and is relieved by pressure or being bandaged or by an application of fomentation round the head should be ascribed to the action of the deranged vayu and is known as the vata shirorog. A violent burning and aching pain in the head, in which the scalp seems to have been striven over with bits of live charcoal, accompanied by a sense of scorching vapor being emitted from the nostrils, and which am- ameliorates in the night or on the application of cold, should be ascribed to the action of the deranged pith and is known as the pitta shirorog. A fit of headache in which the head or palate and the throat seem to be covered with a coat of sticky mucus and feel cold and heavy and cannot be turned about, and the face and the eyes look swollen or flabby, should be attributed to the action of the deranged bodily cough and is called the kapha shirorog. A case marked by the concerted action of all the three preceding doshas exhibits all the symptoms peculiar to all of them and is known as the Tridosha Shiroroga. Then the symptoms of Raktaj, Shayaj and Krimish types of Shiroroga. A case of headache due to the vitiated condition of the local blood manifests all the symptoms of the Pittash type and the headache becomes incapable of bearing the least touch. This is known as the Rakta Shirorog. A case of headache incidental to the waste of the local vasa, fat or cough and is marked by an intolerable pain, abhitab in the head, which is aggravated by the application of fomentation, fumigation, urine, emetic and bloodletting. This is known as the Shaya Shirorog. The disease of the head in which a pricking and tingling pain is felt inside the head as is being stung by some poisonous insect and which is accompanied by a watery discharge mixed with blood from nose should be attributed to the existence of local parasites. This condition, this disease is a dangerous one and is known as a crimmage or parasitic shirorog. Then the symptoms of Suryavar Shiroro, the disease of the head in which a severe pain is felt in the eye and the eyebrow just as sunrise and which goes on growing worse with the progress of the day and begins to abate only when the great luminary begins to set in the western sky is called the Suryavar. It generally abates on the use of cold articles but sometimes on that of warm things as well. It is ascribed to the concerted action of the three doshas. Then the symptoms of Anantvat Shirorog, the disease of the head in which a violent pain is felt at the manya and the ghat, the two nerves on the backside of the neck, which ultimately affects the region of the eye, the eyebrow, and the temples, and especially producing a throbbing pain as well as paralysis of the jawbone, and this disease is known as the Anantvat and is due to the concerted action of the three dosh. Then the symptoms of Ardhavbhetak and Shankag, the disease of the head in which a violent and excruciating pain of a piercing or aching nature is felt in one half of the cranium, which makes the patient feels giddy and which either follows no distinct periodicity or recurs at a regular interval of 10 days or of a fortnight, is called the Ardhav Bhedak and is due to the concerted action of the three doshas.
A violent pain, then comes the Shankak Rog, a violent pain caused in the head and more especially in the temples by the local Vayu in the combination with the deranged cough, pith and blood, is designated by the holy sages of Ayurveda as the Shankak. It produces a very great pain and is very hard to cure even by the joint advice of thousands of physicians and is as fierce as death itself. Thus ends the 25th chapter in the Uttar Tantra of the Sushruta Samhita, which deals with the symptoms of the diseases of the head. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it soon. Thank you so much.